Mr. President, you talked about COP29. Of course, COP29 was an indicator of Azerbaijan's international authority. My question will also be about Azerbaijan's place in the international community. It is known that our country closely cooperates with a number of international organizations, is a member of these organizations, and this process continues. Recently, at the end of last year on 19th December, Azerbaijan was admitted to another influential organization, D8. This organization expanded its ranks with Azerbaijan after almost 30 years. What does membership in D8 mean to Azerbaijan in terms of Azerbaijan's place in the political system of the world? I would like to ask what this means for Azerbaijan and what prospects it opens up for our country.
This was another successful step for us, because Azerbaijan's acceptance into this organization once again demonstrates the authority of our country. You know very well that this organization was established almost 30 years ago at the initiative of Turkey, and included 8 countries. No other members were accepted during these years. Azerbaijan was the first member accepted after the first enlargement decision. Of course, this shows the authority of our country, as well as our role in the international arena. D8 is the largest organization uniting Muslim countries. It is an organization with a population of more than 1 billion and accounts for 60% of the economy of Muslim countries. If we consider the gross domestic product of this organization, it exceeds $5 trillion. There are about 60 Muslim countries in the world, and Azerbaijan has been elected as a new member. Of course, this is both a great honor and a great responsibility for us. All instructions have already been given so that Azerbaijan can be active in this organization and make its contribution. It was Turkey that supported our candidacy from the very first day. At the invitation of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, I once attended the D8 summit in Turkey as a guest about 7 or 8 years ago. Since then, the issue of Azerbaijan's membership has been on the agenda. But of course, there had to be a consensus among all member countries, and finally, this consensus was achieved. We will, of course, be in closer contact with member states. However, we already have very active relations with all member states. We still consider this decision to be a recognition of our successes. I repeat, this is just the first such step. The main issue will be related to the future activities of D8. Of course, we have our own ideas and our own agenda. We will constantly be in contact with member states and make our proposals. I think it is quite realistic that D8 will have great influence as an organization. I believe that, in one way or another, the expansion has already begun. It will not be limited to Azerbaijan. Perhaps other countries will also be invited. Of course, these issues will be considered on the basis of consensus. Azerbaijan has always been a valuable member of the Muslim world. If you pay attention to the statements of the leaders of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, you will see that this organization, which unites all Muslim countries, has had a very positive opinion about Azerbaijan at all times. We have taken consistent steps related to Muslim solidarity, including respect for the Islamic religion in Azerbaijan, interfaith relations, and hosting many events, including the 4th Islamic Solidarity Games. We always defend the interests of Muslim countries in all international organizations, including the UN. In all organizations, if an election is held for a leadership position in any organization, and there is a representative of a Muslim country there, we automatically vote for that representative. That is, this was my instruction. And once the instruction is given, I repeat, it is automatically resolved. We have provided assistance to many Muslim countries. We do not boast about it. And when we do so, we do not talk about it much. But even the information available in the media is sufficient to say that we are very active in this area, both during COVID and in other issues. We have been at the forefront of addressing the disaster facing the Palestinian people. After the collapse of the Assad regime in Syria and the formation of a new government, Azerbaijan became the second country after Turkey to provide humanitarian assistance there, and we are ready to provide any other assistance. For this purpose, a delegation from the Foreign Ministry of Azerbaijan recently visited Syria. So, we perceive the interests of all Muslim countries as our own, which is probably why Azerbaijan was the first choice after the decision to expand D8 was made. Of course, our country's economic potential, political weight, and military power were taken into account as well. Our policy of Islamic solidarity, which I mentioned, was taken into account. At the same time, this organization is expanding its geography. D8 has already expanded to both the Caucasus and the Caspian region. And the wider our geography, the broader our opportunities. It is no secret to anyone that a new world order is shaping up. I believe that we are at the beginning of this process. Many gaps are emerging and will emerge. The system that emerged after World War II has already lost its potential. This is evidenced by the processes, conflicts, wars, and other events taking place in many places. At the same time, the political and moral crisis in leading Western countries is also obvious. In other words, the most critical of the situation facing the West today is the elected president of a leading Western country. And he is right in criticizing it, because this system has already exhausted itself. I am not the one saying this. This is what Mr. Trump, who will become the President of America in a few days, is saying. Naturally, these gaps will widen further, and it is necessary for a new actor, a new serious player with a serious agenda to emerge. For example, we believe that the organization of Turkic states can become a serious power center on a global scale, because it has vast geography, human resources, natural resources, transport and communications, and unity. I believe that D8 can also fill this gap. I repeat, more than 1 billion, perhaps 1.3 billion people live in these countries. 60% of the economy of Muslim countries is in D8, and 60% of the population is also in D8 countries. Therefore, this is an opportunity. We cannot miss this opportunity. We cannot waste time. And we become a member of this organization with this agenda. I believe that our ideas and proposals will be carefully considered.